Narcissists are specific in their approach. They have a way about them that is just, oh, so familiar, and yet they are so unique, as their way about them sets them above any other person. They seem so compassionate, caring, and loving. What's not to like about the narcissist? They have qualities that we all want to see in ourselves, right? They go that extra mile and they help their fellow man. That's admirable. And some of us see that quality in the narcissist and say, I want to be just like that. They are kind to babies. They help the elderly across the streets and rescue animals. They are seemingly the kind of people who we want to hang around and emulate. I mean, someone who is a friend to all is my kind of peeps. Someone who is helpful and generous towards humanity is someone I want in my corner. It isn't wrong to want to hang around these types of people who motivate us to want to be better ourselves, right? Wanting to hang around good, kind, natured people, well, that is an asset. It's never a bad thing, as we are to motivate each other in becoming better by doing better. But yes, there's a but. Be careful. As you know, you've heard me say this before. Appearances can be deceiving. Not all people are kind just because that is who they are. Some people, as you know, with the narcissist, they are opportunistic by design. Their kindness and compassion has its own reward, a self-reward, as their benevolent gestures always come at a malevolent price. Hi, my name is Shannon Gilmore, and in this video, I would like to share with you the blindsiding ways of the seemingly empathetic nature of the beast we call narcissism. What they show you is not what you think it is. It's easy to care for others because caring for us just comes naturally. It's instinctual in all of us, including wild animals. The animals that feed off of other animals that are predatory and they ingest their prey alive. Well, those snakes and wolves, they may have the thrill of the hunt in them, but yes, they have this way about them that allows them to even care for one another. Caring is not the same as empathy, as we often mistake the two. Caring is showing a concern for others in kindness. Empathy, well, that is something slightly different. Narcissists are great at making displays of kindness. They make overtures and grand gestures, going out of their way and going the extra mile for someone, if that means that they will benefit in some way. Their open displays of caring are always pronounced. However, their motives remain hidden, and because they are hidden, their motives are often mistaken for compassion, as we are led to believe that the narcissist is someone other than who they are not. Contrary to belief, what you see from the narcissist is not what you think it is. What you think is empathy is only caring. We mistake that caring nature for kindness, for empathy, because we want to believe that there is good in everyone. We believe that there's good in the narcissist. Oh, they do care. That caring nature, it's not fake. But in their caring, that is all the depth that they have within them. See, to actually express empathy, one has to go deeper within. One has to actually dig down past their own ego and really sense what the other person is feeling in that moment. The narcissist is too self-absorbed to get any kind of bead on someone else's feelings. When you understand that the narcissist lacks genuine empathy and instead can only offer you caring, that is when you begin to see them for who they truly are, and you will then listen for that particular tone in their voice that lets you know that they are feigning empathy. And sometimes you can see a micro expression on their face called the duping delight. It's momentarily a snicker, a sneer, that lets you know that they do not have good intentions towards you. But that is another video. When you can really hear that particular tone, you hear that influx in their tonality that lets you know just how disingenuous they really are. And this is what makes them seem cold and calculating, as this tonality lets you know exactly where they are coming from. They are cold and calculating by nature, and we don't see this at first, not until it's too late. Because we make the mistake of assuming their caring nature is an empathetic nature. Caring is not empathy, and not all empathy is equal. It is assumed that the narcissist is an emotionally vacant vampire, and yes, that is exactly what they are. They lack the substance that makes us human. Love through empathy. They may not have empathy in their hearts to give to you, but they do recognize how to mirror that empathy and manipulate your empathy against you. But they also know how to manipulate specific kinds of empathy through your thoughts and actions. Empathy is an inherent nature in you, and it is what you use in a kind and compassionate way. The narcissist cannot use this in any other way than for self-motivated reasons. Because of who they are, they can only use empathy to abuse you and others. Empathy is defined as being made aware of, being sensitive to, and understanding thoughts and feelings and experiences of another individual without sharing in the feeling and thoughts or even in the same experiences. Empathy on its own lacks emotion, but combined with the ability to care about someone in a real, genuine way without self-interested motives, oh, you then have a powerhouse of a human being in your midst. Empathy is an inherent nature, as this is developed within us in our youth, as others show us how to empathize within our surroundings. Now, empathy can be shown to us, and because we are shown this as children, it helps to develop our own compassion development for others as we are shown compassion from others. These are all developmental stages of love. These are developmental stages belonging to the emotion of love. And just like there are 4 types of love, which are the romantic, family devotion, brotherly, emotional bonding, and the highest form of love, that is noble and self-sacrificing, what Jesus did for us on the cross. Now, psychologists realize that just like there are 4 types of love, there are 3 types of empathy, and these are as follows. Emotional empathy. This is where you literally put yourself in someone else's situation and you offer emotional support as you bond emotionally to the individual's situation of pain. You feel their emotional pain even though you are not experiencing it alongside them. Although everyone experiences emotional empathy in varying degrees, this is something narcissists cannot relate to. They are incapable of meeting you from your side of pain and torment. Why? Because they fear what they don't know. They fear revisiting painful feelings that they cannot bring themselves to feel for fear of appearing weak and shattered. They literally do not have the emotional fortitude that any kind, compassionate, and loving person has. They lack these qualities and cannot offer emotional support of any kind. If you find yourself reaching out to a narcissist in an emotional way to gain emotional support, expect to be dismissed, ignored, devalued, as other diversion tactics will be used against you to change the subject, to put the onus all on them. One such tactic is gaslighting. This is because the narcissist is now put on the spot and is extremely uncomfortable and vulnerable as they are now on unfamiliar emotional ground. The other type of empathy is compassionate empathy. This is where you understand someone's hardship, but because you are not immediately experiencing that hardship, you cannot take action and help improve the situation. But you can offer suggestions, but you cannot offer anything more than moral support. This form of empathy is another source of empathy that the narcissist cannot relate to. Why? Because the narcissist is not capable of showing compassion or remorse to you in any way that benefits you. To help you emotionally would benefit you to grow healthy and strong in emotional resolve. A narcissist needs you somewhat broken. They need to be able to dismantle you and your emotions easily so that they can help put you back together in their way. They dismantle you to mold you back as how they want to see you. To them, they are your hero. They are together your hero and your antagonist of your life story. The narcissist cannot relate or understand your hardship because they cannot make sense of their own hardships. To make sense of their hidden inward trauma would mean that they would have to dig emotionally deep, and the narcissist can never dive within themselves to uproot those emotional issues. They are emotionally vacant individuals who lack the emotions to look inside themselves, to emotionally medicate in healthy, loving ways for themselves and for you. The third type of empathy that we all express and the narcissist uses against you is called cognitive empathy. This is where an individual can see situations from your perspective and turn it around in such a way that benefits them. Police officers and lawyers use this type of empathy to gain one's trust and meet an individual on equal emotional platforms. For a narcissist, cognitive empathy is their only form of empathy, and it is never used for your benefit. It's always for theirs. They establish a connection with you to gain your trust. For example, if you tell them something personal about yourself, and they dig deeper to you think to understand your feelings and thoughts, but only later on, you've come to find out that they manipulate your narrative against you to produce that outcome that they desire for themselves. What are they looking for when they use your story against you? They are looking for supply. That is a negative reaction from you that gives them the emotional supply and support that they need to feel better about themselves. Your emotions are the fuel to their emotional fire and fury. The narcissist will use cognitive empathy against you. It will seem like they care and are interested in you, but when you are at your weakest point in your relationship, whether it be a romantic one or a family, coworker, or even a friend, When the both of you are at your weakest points in the relationship, for whatever reason, they will turn your trust into a means of manipulation and control to make themselves feel better about themselves. It isn't easy to spot this manipulative tactic right away. The narcissist is extremely well versed in what they do. It is important to identify what the narcissist's motive is. If you can't identify that motive, it doesn't mean that they do not have one. Narcissists always have a motive. It isn't that you don't want to share your personal information with the narcissist, because that might tip them off. And it might harm the relationship and make things a little bit worse for you. However, it's important for you to recognize that when you share your personal information, do not share the information that you are still vulnerable in. Share the information about your past or trauma that you have overcome, so that when the narcissist does use it against you, you're not going to be hit with that emotional punch later on and be blindsided. Just remember this caution. The narcissist is persistent in getting what they want. And they want to see a vulnerability in you, because that is the weakness in your armor. When they can identify a weakness in you, they will extrapolate it and monopolize on it, because this is where they gain their strength. What you say to a narcissist can and always will be used against you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but months and even years to come. And be mindful of this. If you are dealing with a narcissist in a court of law, they will use what you said to them against you, even before a judge. So when you realize that you have been manipulated by the narcissist, it's important to take back your power by taking back the authority of trust, by establishing those healthy boundaries. Whatever makes you feel uncomfortable to discuss, you are not obligated to discuss that with them. Whatever you feel uncomfortable to do, you are not obligated to perform with them. Even if you have said yes before, you can still say no now. Establishing your boundaries by standing up for yourself and holding yourself accountable to what you want and what you don't want, and what you like and don't like, well, this helps you to distance yourself from the narcissist emotionally and physically, as you can and will never be able to reason with them or trust them. The narcissist, even though they are kind, caring, and giving by nature, they will never ever trust you. See, empathy comes with trust. When you empathize with somebody, you are showing somebody that they can trust you, and that you trust them with your emotions, and that they can trust you with their emotions by sharing with you. Empathy allows us to go the emotional distance with one another and hold each other up and carry each other where we are weak. When the other person is strong emotionally and we are weak, empathy allows us to pick each other up and carry each other where we need and go the distance. And just step up and stand in the gap for one another and just do what we need to do out of love and compassion. Now, the narcissist will always use cognitive empathy against you and take advantage in attempts to destroy you so that they can feel better about themselves. The only way you can win with the narcissist is to not allow yourself to be set up and played a fool who plays a fool's game. You are worthy of a mutually beneficial relationship. And just because the emotionally vacant narcissist is your parent, is your spouse, is your sibling, your child, it makes no difference if they are a coworker. You do not have to play that foolish game with them and set yourself up to be manipulated and called out and made to feel less than. You are worthy of having healthy, beneficial relationships. And the emotional silent treatment from you to the narcissist is what the narcissist deserves. So here are some biblical insights that may help you on your journey of self-development and help you hold yourself to those healthy boundaries. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 2. Hezekiah received the envoys and showed them all that was within his storehouses: the silver, the gold, the spices, the fine olive oil, his armory, and everything found among his treasures. There was nothing in his palace or in his kingdom that Hezekiah did not show them. 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 13. I am reminded of the narcissist when I read this story. King Hezekiah trusted a narcissist. He trusted the enemy, as the enemy of Babylon sent him gifts as sympathetic gestures of Hezekiah's illness. Hezekiah showed the king of Babylon everything in his court and palace. He unknowingly tipped off the enemy, and the enemy was made aware of Jerusalem's treasures, and this caused the enemy of Babylon to covet those treasures. Babylon succeeded in taking what was not theirs and brought destruction and ruin to Jerusalem. This can be a lesson to us as we need to guard the treasures of our hearts and never give our love and trust away before we are certain that our friend is not our frenemy. Empathy is the ability to put your emotions aside and place your self-awareness into the perspective of someone else's perspective in life so that you can gain an understanding of how they might be feeling in any given circumstance. An easiest way to describe this would be to stand in someone else's shoes. Empathy is something we all have. Those who are of a loving nature, of course. The narcissist can only fake empathy as they use empathy as a means to manipulate you, to control you. If the narcissist can show you that they care, then you will automatically assume that they can empathize. That buzzing is the cicadas outside. I just have my window open. If the narcissist can show you that they care, then they assume that you will automatically assume that they can empathize. Well, if the narcissist can show you that they care, then that opens your heart and your mind to automatically assume that the narcissist can empathize. And this is when we let our guards down too soon. We end up giving the narcissist way too much information about ourselves. We share with them the most vulnerable positions we have been put in, only to discover later on that they use what we tell them against us. This leaves us emotionally wounded as we expect the narcissist to take a delicate approach with our feelings as we assume they are empathetic to our needs. This is something they can genuinely never, ever, ever do. Well, they can show empathy on a superficial level, and this is short term as it's always used to hoodwink us into believing that they are our emotional comrade. The narcissist is a narcissist, is a narcissist, is a narcissist, and they cannot change. You can, however, by listening to the hidden motives of the narcissist and looking for consistent behavior, you begin to see their kindness as superficial and shallow. Caring is something the narcissist can and does very well. Empathy, well, that takes going deeper into ourselves, and the narcissist just won't go there. It is your responsibility to take care of your heart and your mind. And giving the narcissist the opportunity to take care of you emotionally and mentally is never, ever in your best interest. Forearmed is forewarned, and the more you know, the less likely you will fall for the narcissistic manipulative fakery that comes in the pretty package of show and tell called, "See me, I'm just as empathetic as you are." No, they're not. And I am hopeful that this video helped you to see how the narcissist uses your empathy against you. So thank you for watching. My name is Shannon Gilmore. If you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Offer your comments, questions, and suggestions down below, or scoop me off an email. I'm always willing to hear your stories as I'm empowered to understand and grow along with you in this thing we call life. So thank you very much. Be blessed.